They do like Xayah.
There we go.
So I think Splyce just goes for like Kaisa
Done this
GP.
a few times.
There we go.
GP Kaisa would work here.
Yeah, Kaisa GP looks legit.
I mean, for how much we flamed
Maybe
not
Silas.
GP for Chachi in the last game, I think you guys want to see him on the Gangplank.
Yeah.
What are we looking for the second pick?
Silas, please. Just look in the
Kaisa.
Silas, don't need to look Kaisa.
Okay.
Why do you advise against the Kaisa?
Because I think enemy showed the AD carry already and they can pick the Silas
So
and
what
just
do you
put
think
him
that
in.
means?
They could take it away, but then also maybe they think Fnatic don't really play Silas, or well, maybe game one they won, but you know that wasn't doing much. So I'm not even sure if Fnatic should pick Silas here.
I also just think that Silas' priority is low between both these teams because they don't seem as comfortable. Splyce, I don't think, seem as comfortable to flex it, and I think Fnatic
I
realized.
forgot about this one.
Yeah, TF is open. Hold up.
that they have higher priorities.
Changing the game. All right, how strong is Nemesis's TF, Mickey?
It's too strong. Honestly, it's a 3-0 go.
Change prediction already.
Yeah, I'm changing it.
What's so good about his TF?
I mean, he just like finds really good ult on side lanes. He sometimes even gives up priority mid, or some customers might call it cheat priority. Just go to side lane.
Thresh 3.
With the Leona, do you think it
Thresh
has to?
3.
Do you think it has to be Thresh here? Like, what if you're Norskeren? What are you trying to pick, knowing that they have Twisted Fate and Leona Xayah?
I mean, I think for Norskeren, I think you should go for Nautilus. I think it's like one of his best champs, or even a Braum could be fine. I think the Leona blind pick here is really bad, but I guess Shen is.
It's
yeah,
a secret
fine.
Twisted Fate counter that
Actually,
you two pulled
Shen
off.
Shen is a pretty good pick here, and they can also flex it. Xerxe is notorious for his Shen.
Oh.
Then again, not sure if they can play GP mid, so.
I'm loving your sound effects here, Yamato. Oh, what's going on? Not picked yet for Hilly this summer. I'm actually not sure,
I guess
but we're seeing it more and more.
Silas, Azir, I think those were really good. Actually, maybe they should just ban Azir, Corki. Maybe those are the best champs for Humanoid, and I think they're both pretty good against TF. Or maybe they think Corki not good against TF, so they maybe they're Azir.
Silas is a pretty good one too because you can match TF ult.
Oh, that's true.
TF, like Silas with TF ult is much scarier than TF with TF ult.
Yeah.
Maybe they look to choke out
tongue
Broxah.
twister.
Already they took away the Nocturne. Definitely didn't want to deal with that. The Urgot from Bwipo also off the table.
Yeah.
Nightmares from that one, from the last time they played.
I remember
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Remember, it's when we were saying there wasn't a big champion pool, and then all of a sudden Bwipo was like, remember this guy? There we go.
Yeah.
Jarvan
Jarvan
ban as well. So yeah,
I think
Broxah's
it's
finished.
really easy to do Sejuani Corki here to round out the rest of Splyce's composition. It fits really well with trying to have a lot of semi-global or global presence to match the Twisted Fate. And as long as you play on Corki package window and try to follow the destiny with either Shen GP ultimate, I think Splyce will probably do Sej Corki.
Okay, what are we looking for? We still don't have a jungler for Broxah as well as a top laner.
This is an Elise game.
Lee is open.
Elise is open.
Or Ivern, I
Ivern
guess.
is open too.
I don't know about Ivern.
All the sound effects.
I guess Leona Ivern could be decent, but
How does it work?
I mean, I guess Leona just goes in and Ivern shoots her, and she just kind of tanks the whole team.
Pretty foolproof.
But yeah, I don't see
Ivern against Xerxe though. Xerxe is the Ivern master,
He
and
knows all.
Ivern you kind of need to be kind of cheeky, but I don't think Sejuani can really punish Ivern at all.
Or, I guess, I mean,
It's,
I don't know.
I guess
We
GP is
can
pretty
talk about hover.
terrible, no?
Yeah, I don't see Ivern being good here, but
I would have preferred Jax, actually.
Well, I
Vlad
know.
is actually.
There we go.
This I like.
Vladimir top lane. What about this one?
I think Vladimir is something that's very underused into GP. We see it more in Korea, and it's a good counter because eventually you reach the point where you can dive and you scale better than GP because you need to itemize like Mortius. If they can snowball early, TF dive, it can get very, very rough.
I think also probably Splyce are gonna go for Corki, but I think they should.
Yasuo is locked in. What do we
Actually,
make of both comps?
Yasuo is pretty good against TF. Maybe that's why they left TF open.
We're gonna see a lot of
We'll see how it works.
You now also have the ability to play side lane. So we talked about previously that Splyce were unable to match the side lane pressure. With Yasuo, he's a champion that can definitely play those side lanes when the map starts opening out in tandem with the GP and Shen. So I like that Splyce have brought a lot of those answers that they were lacking in the first two games.
It's also very interesting to see here because always we saw this focus from Splyce on the bot lane. This time around they need to force very hard on mid because if you let TF get prio, your entire map is doomed. So this time around we're going to see a lot of 2v2 on mid, and that's new for Splyce, so I'm excited.
And yeah, after seeing this draft phase, I'm sticking with a prediction, 3-1, Pentax Spy win. I think they outdrafted them, and yeah, I think Leona's not a good champ, so I think it just loses the draft on its own.
Okay, there we go.
Pick.
Mickey X's wisdom says Leona is a bad pick, so you lose the draft automatically. Let's see if he's right or not. In any case, it's do or die for Splyce. Let's say, see rather, if they can stay in the series.
Very much, Xerxe, and welcome back to the Cast Desk, where I'm joined by Ender for what could be the last game of LEC in 2019. Now, Mickey did change his prediction at least 3 times. That is the definition of a flip-flopper, and I don't know if I can trust him.
No, you can't, because he said both Fnatic and Splyce were going to win. So, I mean, he's right one way, he's wrong the other one. This is going to be a fun game here for Fnatic.
Well, we'll find out whether Fnatic 3-0 or not, or can Splyce push us to a game 4. In a League of Legends land. During the draft, Ender leaned over to me and started screaming during phase 2 that Irelia was going to be locked in. Now, while the Irelia was not locked in, the sentiment of Irelia being replaced by Yasuo was. Why did you feel that was going to happen for Humanoid?
Well, I think when you have a Sejuani in the jungle, you always want to look to have some sort of a melee mid laner that you can play around, so while the Corki was an option, I think that that's less exciting for Splyce to attack this mid lane. We also heard Yamato Cannon say on the desk, you want to shut down the global at its source, so I think it's just a much better option into the Twisted Fate. Now, in particular in this game, I actually really like the Yasuo, maybe even a little bit more than the Irelia. I think Irelia is much better at forcing team fights, but Yasuo's Windwall versus, you know, so many ranged characters on the other side, double marksman setup for Fnatic as well, is going to be very, very effective in front-to-back team fights for Splyce.
All right, so let's see how long it'll take to get there. My eyes are definitely going to be on Hylissang and how he plays on this Leona after Mickey's very strong words, saying not only is it a bad champ, it's an even worse one blind picked. And then secondarily, the combination with Ivern, I actually think there's a lot of very fun synergies there between the Leona, the Vladimir, to close that gap and get them stuck into those fights.
You know what this actually is? This is just misfits from 2017 Worlds, right? It's Ivern in the jungle while Ignar just wants to play Leona in the bottom lane because he doesn't want to build Ardent Sensor, so a little bit of throwback here. And
also, that year, Misfits were the 2nd seed going to Worlds, where Fnatic were the 3rd. So maybe it is a callback to that time. But for Splyce, of course, you know, do or die. Keep your chances of guaranteed groups alive by winning this game and forcing us to another game in the series, or you will be condemned to play in the play-in stage. Now, for Splyce, even getting to Worlds, huge success. They were the 3rd best team for the entirety of the summer split until they faced Rogue, and then they weren't. But for the most part, they have been consistent all split long. And we need to see if they can be competitive with Fnatic.
Yeah, and for Vizicsacsi as well, of course, to be able to make his first World Championship is going to be huge for him. Now, in particular, you say Splyce, you want to see them compete against Fnatic, right? Want to keep things competitive. Well, in this game, I do feel like they have some options, especially around this mid lane. Pre-level 6, try and find some moves up against Nemesis. But then once level 6s roll around is where the game actually gets really wacky, because this is Global City. Fnatic, they've got the Twisted Fate in the mid lane, while Splyce, they have the Cannon Barrage, they have the Stand United as well, sort of on split ends of the map. Yeah. So if you consider it, Global's top lane, Global's bot lane, you can just attack that mid lane with both of them.
Yeah, you absolutely can. And of course, against a sort of skirmish-heavy playstyle like Fnatic's, having the Cannon Barrage, having the Stand United are going to be very crucial tools in keeping Splyce on an even keel as the game plays out. And you know, Vladimir into GP is an old school pick. Both of them will be able to farm it pretty well. Neither of them really has much kill threat on the other, and they can just scale their way into the game nice and happy.
Yeah, I think the big win for Vladimir in this match, of course, is that, well, yes, he can get pushed in the early levels. This guy just scales to ridiculous amounts of damage, and he does it from range as well. You also can't forget that he amplifies the damage of all his allies when he hits those enemies with the Hemo Plague, so it means Rekkles is going to be dealing more, Nemesis is going to be dealing more as well, and it sets up for this really strong all-in engage, I think, when you consider, you know, the Solar Flare coming through from Hylissang, and then the Hemo Plague on top. That AoE is going to be deadly. Yeah,
it really, really will. If Splyce give them those opportunities. You know, last time, I kind of feel like Splyce were not great at picking their fights in Game 2. Didn't really have an answer to Broxah's Nocturne or ways of getting themselves advantages. And obviously Nemesis on that Cassiopeia was a gigantic threat. So let's see what we can do on his signature pick. Didn't think we'd ever see Nemesis on Twisted Fate again this year. And this could be what sends Fnatic to the group stage.
Definitely could be. Xerxe waiting around this mid lane, trying to make a play on towards Nemesis, but Nemesis giving a lot of respect over. Xerxe's also only level 3, so going for anything would be quite risky. Instead, now shifting his focus towards that bottom side of the map as Humanoid, without his jungle around, says now's the time to take the trade of all things.
Humanoid gets a knock-up. He's been pretty good on those wind walls. I've seen him block at least 2 gold cards while Hylissang finds a Zenith Blade. A lot of damage onto Norskeren. The body block from Xerxe. Not going to be enough just yet as Norskeren picks up the kill. Correction, Kobbe does.
Norskeren loves to play with fire down here. I'm getting flashbacks to game 1 when he went in and just traded his life to get a kill on the other side. But it will be Splyce leading the charge here. Now Broxah coming around on Chachi. Doesn't have a lot of damage followed up.
Ivern is such a goofy champion.
No, you got it right. Daisy's the real champion here.
Exactly. When Broxah steps in, misses the skill shot, Chachi's able to easily walk away. And Xerxe, much like game 1 in the early stages, able to punish an aggressive engage from Fnatic's bottom.
All right, so let's see this. Norskeren chunked out a little bit, so Hylissang thinks he takes a really good trade because also Kobbe's running away right now. I don't know if that's 200 IQ baiting in Fnatic's duo for this fight, or he was just not on the same page with the rest of his team because him leaving that fight almost meant that Norskeren went down.
Yeah, I actually thought Norskeren did go down until I looked at the kill feed and I was like, nope, you have misspoken, Mr. Henry. But again, Splyce pick up the first kill. A little bit of a trade between Hyli and Norskeren. Norskaren's trying to hold the wave for Kobbe, who's making his way back down. He's running the cleanse this time around, as is Rekkles. And when you see all of the CC available, it makes a lot of sense. It's going to be so crucial to dodge those big engage tools because both sides this time around have a lot of options to start fights, which we kind of really haven't seen that much of, or to this extent over the 2 previous games.
Yeah, it's that long-range, non-committal engage from a Leona as well as a Sejuani on the other side. This is going to be the move from Xerxe. He really wants to make this happen. As soon as you get flash off of Nemesis, it becomes a whole lot easier to make plays. As down bottom lane, that's a really bad trade for Hylissang.
It really is. Broxah's making his way in. He's buying some time. Defensive flash from Hyli, down to 150 HP. Survives just long enough, but Kobbe gets the second. It is traded as Rekkles takes him down.
Kobbe not willing to run away from that one. No. He wanted to go all in right there. Doesn't have a teleport, instead with the cleanse, as you mentioned earlier, so he can't actually get down to this bottom lane to pick up the minion. So had he been able to get out, that surely would have been the better call.
Yeah, definitely the case. At least the kill was secured there by Rekkles. Taking a look, no flashes in the bottom lane. There are some Hex flashes, of course, but it's going to be very juicy targets for either Broxah or Xerxe if they want to come down. Cannon Barrage has already been used as Chachi's been jumped on with the Hemo Plate. Transfusion's coming out, and Bwipo wins out the trade for now. Flash was committed as well. Humanoid needs to find the knock-up. No Cannon Barrage to back it out, and I don't think they really go for a tower dive yet. Transfusion plus Tides of Blood will easily clear this wave out.
Yeah, without minions there sooner for Humanoid to charge up the Tornado on, this dive was never going to be able to happen, even though Bwipo didn't have those defensive spells to be able to respond towards anything. So instead, this long walk from Humanoid is actually going to sacrifice a lot of the lead he had in the mid lane, just in terms of CS. That full wave gets pushed into bot lane.
Oh my word! Absolutely everything in the kitchen sink thrown at Kobbe and Norskeren. The fade away auto secures the kill for Nemesis. Destiny Gates, 2 kills.
That's what we're waiting for. Fnatic, whenever they go for the twist fade, it's always a dive on that bottom side of the map. Is Broxah also able to run in towards there, get the red buff for himself? Maybe Nemesis can walk up there and pick it up him for zone as well. But this is just everything going well for Fnatic after that initial play by Splyce down bot.
And also, there's not even a solar flare available here. So take a look at the minimap. Here's Nemesis coming in, and that's just Flash Zenith Blade.
Yep, you take control of the bush with a control ward, so the enemies can't see that channel of the Hex Flash. And then all of a sudden, there's a twist fade right on top of you. No escape for either, as Nemesis picks up the last hit on the way out. And now you just wait for that cooldown to be up again. And even if you don't have it, well, there's a teleport ready. Yeah. So Nemesis can always respond to plays around the map.
Yep, and Hyli's going to get the solar flare, make it even more powerful. But when you see the Featherstorm combination, even without solar flare thrown on top of it, it is very difficult for Splyce if they get hit by a single piece of CC, because the follow-up practically guarantees a kill.
Yeah, it becomes really, really rough. And now this is where I'm like, Splyce, you have to make a play around the mid lane. It's been 9 minutes now. Xerxe's level 6. Norskeren can look for a rotation over. You must do something because Nemesis doesn't have a flash. You went for the teleport too, so there's no cleanse to save him against the Sejuani. You must be more proactive. But with good vision around the mid lane, both top side and bottom of that mid lane, it makes it so impossible for Xerxe to actually get in there and find a play without being seen.
That's going to be even more difficult. You can see the gold lead starting to build up for Fnatic. They got themselves 2 or 3 plates there in the bottom lane. 10 minutes in, 1,200 gold up. And now Hyli and Broxah, they are at risk of being caught out. Hylissang's got his ultimate available, and if you look at the minimap, Rekkles has now made his way up. No Destiny for Nemesis, but he's got the TP. Cannon Barrage is thrown down, and take a look at Hyli. He's going to go down. Humanoid picks it up. Defensive flash from Broxah, biting off more than they can chew.
Okay, Hylissang, that's your one for the series. We get it, we get it. We know what you're trying to do. Make the 1v9 plays, will end up falling down right there. It wasn't necessarily a play around the mid lane there for Splyce, but Humanoid did find a kill, so that's the silver linings there for Splyce.
Yeah, definitely maybe underestimating the response from Splyce. Rekkles under some threat of getting caught by the taunt. Flash available for Norskeren. Double pickaxes for Kobbe at the time being. And Broxah going a little bit fishing from the Raptor camp. I really like that engage potential or option, because of course with Ivern's kit you can just then hop over the wall even if you have no flash available. And here comes Daisy. Now Humanoid's running for his life. Go Daisy, go! Aww.
And he can't hit the control ward. How sad is that? Just sitting there doing nothing. Useless.
I love watching this champion.
At least Broxah has a friend.
Weird. It is so weird, but it is so fun to watch. And of course, if Daisy can get that knock-up in a team fight, it just adds to that AoE CC that's available to Fnatic, as the tower's completely conceded by Splyce.
Yeah, check out this bottom lane. Splyce reset, and they're not making any of the right moves right now, it feels like, because Kobbe's clearing the Wolf camp coming down bot side to pick up the CS after the tower falls, so it's not even a Rift Herald reply on the other side of the map. Bwipo's like, okay, now's the time where I can be ganked, push the wave, then back away, and Splyce have just completely dropped the ball here. Throughout the series, they've lost their bot lane tower, but often they've sent members to the top side to pick up the Herald. This time, absolutely nothing. They got caught flat-footed.
Yeah, it feels like Fnatic are properly warmed up now. Game 1 a little sloppy, Game 2 a lot more clean. And despite Hyli being a little bit of Hyli, for the most part, Fnatic are doing very well here. 2,000 gold up, got a tower already. They've sort of unlocked the ability for Rekkles and Hylissang now to move around the map. And with his Essence Reaver already completed, this is a terrifying combination when you think that Nemesis can join for any engages at a moment's notice.
Right, and just all the defensive tools for Rekkles too, with his Cleanse, the Featherstorm, and Ivern right next to him as well. It becomes a lot harder to actually single out this target and knock him down, but I'm just waiting for Hylissang to jump in there. 1v3, here we go!
Oh, it's Kobbe jumping in instead, and Bwipo just gets blown up. Now, that's the engage that is available to both parties. Glacial Prison from Xerxe, combination with a long-range engage from Kobbe. Stand United wasn't even needed, but it was available if anything was going awry.
Right, and these are the plays we need to see Splyce continually make right here. They have long cooldowns that they rely on with Sejuani and the Gangplank to make these fights happen, but when they are up, they must be able to act more proactively than Fnatic. Otherwise, Fnatic are going to sort of have the run of the map around them.
And man, the mind games with the yellow card primed and Humanoid waiting to throw that wind wall up. There we go. Bwipo just gets caught out.
Where's the counterplay? Don't face check the bush. That's the counterplay.
Yep. Vizicsacsi did it before Baron in game 1. Bwipo did it now, just before a little bit of siege there in the mid lane. Who picked up the kill? I think it was Kobbe. So he's 2-2-2 right now, down 30 CS, roughly, to Rekkles. And he's going to be picking a fight very soon. Keep a look at the minimap as Broxah's making his way up top. I'm just waiting for Hyli to throw out that solar flare.
So Humanoid was also, cheating up on the way to try and defend right here, but even if he shows up, Nemesis is going to easily be able to be there. Teleports on both top laners could respond in kind too, so looks like Fnatic will back away for now, but there's very likely a fight going to go on in the river.
Fight, fight, fight! Teleport coming in. Humanoid throws out the wind wall. Nemesis is waiting for the next engage. Solar flare's available for Hyli. He's looking for a target. Humanoid flashes defensively. Where does the ulti go? Destiny, it's a gold card. Wild cards with the solar flare. Now they've bent with the Stand United. But Hyli's under the tower. He's going to be the first to fall. The tower tags him up. Not just yet. Finally, it's a trade. 1-for-1. Mid for support, though. And now, all of a sudden, Kobbe's made his way in.
Yeah, Kobbe's late to get into this fight. Vizicsacsi also just threw down the cannon barrage, so no teleport. He's trading for plates down the bottom side. Well, Bwipo goes deep.
Oh, he charged up the Tides of Blood. Wasn't able to find the target, though. Sanguine Pool buys some time. Xerxe throws out the ultimate as a teleport is now sent down to the bottom lane. Vizicsacsi pops the barrel, but it won't find a target. Bwipo, Broxah, and Rekkles will take the second tower of the game.
Fnatic with more teleports, more globals here in terms of the TF with the TP. After he goes back to base, he's able to respond and defend that bottom lane tower. So it is a trade up for Fnatic here as they secure that mid lane tower. And now it makes it so much easier to unlock the sides of the map. You know that top lane outer turret is still up for Splyce, but now the Nemesis can just freely clear away that minion wave and threaten the movement up towards topside so much easier. Well, Splyce probably gonna have to give that up in the next few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely the case. And that gold lead is squarely in the hands of Nemesis and Rekkles, both of whom over 1,000 gold up over their opposing numbers. Whereas Vizicsacsi, on the other hand, is the only member that's that has more gold than his opponent right now.
So I do have some concerns about Splyce's team composition coming now in towards the mid game, because when you think about it, GP and Yasuo are both characters that want to be in side lanes, right? Not sitting mid lane and clearing those waves. Kaisa also not the strongest wave clear too. So like she wants to be in a side lane too in the sense that she can force fights with her ultimate and play towards that angle, as opposed to when she's sitting mid lane, she's almost never going to be able to have priority over something like a Xayah, who has that through damage, can easily clear the waves, so they must be able to force fights, and that's how they push the lead forward, because they don't just want to be sitting mid lane, they want to fight you when you come up to the wave.
Well, fortunately, there's a lot of tools in the Splyce kit to force fights. Now, there's a very good dash over the wall from Norskeren, despite getting caught by the Zenith Blade. No further follow-up from Fnatic. And the Rift Herald will be abandoned for now. Splyce were trying their hands. And of course, for Splyce now, they're in this deficit and looking to find those skirmishes.
Chachi has to be really careful. Right now, he's underneath the tower, but the rest of Fnatic is coming down. He doesn't have the damage to finish off Nemesis. Here comes the rest of the team. Rekkles around the side. Hylissang too. Vizicsacsi is going to go down.
Yeah, he will. He secures the tower. He gets the Destiny out of Nemesis. And he's going to be buying some time while that's going on. Bwipo is at threat of being dived in the top lane, as you can see on the minimap. That will be a kill secure here for Fnatic, and it should be donated. Oh, it's actually Hilly that picks it up with the help of the tower. And while that was going on, Splyce abandoned the tower day top.
This is what I don't really like from Splyce, though. They were looking for a dive onto a Vladimir. That's just not going to happen. Instead, they should have just immediately started up this Rift Herald. But because they delayed with Xerxe moving up towards topside, they actually can't go for the Herald. Yes, they get that mid lane tower, but Xerxe, dawdling between those two objectives ends up resulting in neither.
The thing is, net gain though, with the tower mid, with the tower bottom, Splyce are closing that gold gap, and they are out trading in the skirmish, right? So they are doing the right calls. It's like you said, Ender, you wanted to see them be proactive, you wanted to see them make some plays. Vizicsacsi, pulling a Vizicsacsi in a side lane, conceding an isolated death, unlock those two towers, to be fair.
Right. I mean, and I think that the play from Chachi wasn't necessarily poor, right? Getting that tower, as you mentioned. I think Splyce had an opportunity to actually seize a lot of control over this map, but now, all of a sudden, after the map has reset, and it's not Fnatic with so many members down bottom side, when it's neutral, Splyce are playing defense, right? All these side lanes getting pushed out from Fnatic, they're never past the point in the river. So they had this opportunity where they were trading pressure and ultimately didn't seize that opportunity.
Now, philosophically, Cloud Drake picked up by Fnatic, the next one's a Cloud as well. Coming up against a team with, multiple globals, do you like having two Clouds to position or reposition in lane a little quicker and, get around the map? What's your feeling?
I mean, I honestly just think Cloud Drake is really good regardless of your composition. I think just movement speed in general is so key, because think about it, League of Legends is a game about time. The quicker you can rotate to a side lane collapse on someone, the better it's going to be. Ever since they made the change to give you movement speed while you're in combat too, from that buff as well, it's been really strong. Maybe not, rivaling the Mountain Drake or the Infernal Drake, but those are powers you can see, right? You kill the Baron much faster, you feel that. The movement speed, it's more of an intangible. It's harder to recognize how powerful that can be, but the seconds add up.
I have one example. Nemesis playing against G3 during round 2 of the playoffs. If I recall correctly, Perks teleported up playing Mordekaiser, and after he TP'd up, Nemesis was there with the Destiny, and he sidestepped every single ability just with player skill. Now, give him more movement speed, and he's going to try to sidestep. Now, he got out of the Glacial Prison, but he did not get out of the Last Breath. He sidestepped the taunt, and that is movement speed proof in the making, and Daisy sends Norskeren packing.
Norskeren didn't want to go that deep, but once he did, there was no way to come out, and Fnatic take the kill and the tower top lane.
It is so rare when you start talking about a really obscure point, and it happens during the obscure point. Now an engage onto Vizicsacsi. Hylissang's going to walk away for the time being. Cannon barrage! Not going to be enough to kill him. Throws out the barrels, and will not be enough to even tag Rekkles. But again, Nemesis, the sidesteps and the player movement is so key and important, and it kept him alive during that dive.
It did help, certainly right there, Jeff. This is such a weird game, too, because it feels like both teams are playing around side lanes, while Splyce are just shoving down that mid lane. So they've got now that inner tower as well, virtually uncontested, because Fnatic were putting so much resources towards that top lane tower, defending down towards the bottom side as well. So this map is very lopsided in how it should be for this point in the game. And through all of this, Rift Herald has still stayed up. So it's not even like these teams have been prioritizing that objective throughout it. Really nice sidestep there from Nemesis, as he is known for, and realizes that Redemption coming down, he flashes out of it. He doesn't need it, you know? Maybe could have helped use that, but now we gotta fight top lane.
We do indeed. 3 members of Fnatic with the help of Daisy against Xerxe and Humanoid. Humanoid flashes defensively, 150 HP left. He's alive for now. Chachi rocks up, throws down the power kick, and here comes Bwipo from the side. Chemo Plague is thrown out. Xerxe will be taken down once that pops. Vizicsacsi escapes with his life. There was not enough damage.
Look at the follow.
Vizicsacsi until Nemesis arrives. He gets a double kill. 3-0-3. I have 3 votes for player of the series, and they are all for Nemesis.
I'm right there with you, Trev. Nemesis popping off in this series, and right on the 20-minute mark, that is when Fnatic decide to fight Splyce in that top lane river, and that is the same time the Baron spawns onto Rift. 3 games in a row, Fnatic have just completely blitzed through right around this time in the game. Kobbe trying to come through from the steal, but it is Bwipo to finish it off in the end.
All right, I've just asked my stats team what the quickest Baron of the split has been. Maybe quickest Baron of the year as well. That was 20 minutes and 36-ish seconds. Fnatic are 5,000 gold up. They've got multiple completed items on their team. There's a Cloud Drake coming up in a minute. And again, it's just Nemesis is popping off.
All right, he gets engaged on at the start of this one, lands the stun on towards Humanoid, who then doesn't really get to participate in the team fight. His mouse is flying across the screen, guys. It's absolutely insane, but it's the gold cards from Giga Range right there. The rapid fire cannon to be able to continually catch off these members of Splyce, and then he realizes, hey, there's a kill up there for me too.
Now I think during game 2, we were talking a little bit about what we wanted to see from Splyce. I'll get to that in a moment. Is the bases being seen? Xerxe with Glacial Prison available will get spotted out. Nemesis has the gold card primed, waiting for a juicy target. In comes Chachi. Remember, he's already used that cannon barrage. The barrel's thrown out. That's the engage from Heli. That's a 2-man solar flare. The re-engage from Xerxe. The prison is down, but it's Splyce that are routed and running for their lives. Momentary pause as Rekkles picks up the first of the fight. Nemesis taking a look for Norskeren. He escapes. There goes Daisy with the help of Broxah and Nemesis. They take down Norskeren. Now the base is the focus, and do they want to look for the finish already?
They absolutely do. All they've got to do is wait for the minions. The death timers are long here. 25 seconds on Humanoid, 20 on Norskeren. And now with the wave, this will be the last stand for Splyce. And I think Fnatic are looking at it right here.
They absolutely are. Hylissang goes in with a Zenith Blade, and we'll be able to pick up a kill onto Xerxe before losing his life to the towers. Re-engage from Kobbe. Bwipo goes golden for a little bit of time. Now he's taken out. The rest of Fnatic start to back away. Chachi and Kobbe, they hold the base for now. And what I was trying to say before the engage started was we wanted to see Splyce be competitive. Not because it was going to tell us how they would do at Worlds. That's a month away on a different patch. It's to talk about what the maximum potential of teams are, to see how well can you run a gauntlet. And it is a difficult task for Splyce. 3 different teams, 3 different days. But they simply haven't been at a competitive level against Fnatic today.
No, Fnatic definitely look like the better team, as expected, of course. Unable to finish the game in this final push. There will be at least 1 more to come on after it, but with 3 items complete on Rekkles, 3 items on Broxah as well. They are looking primed and ready to finish this one up. You know, they only had to show up for the 1 series. They'd already qualified for Worlds, but they're making it look easy, Trev.
4 out of 5 members of this Fnatic squad are in the World Championship final. Nemesis had to replace Caps at the beginning of the year, and it was a dauntless task. And he has lived up to the expectation of his former mid laner, especially with the Summer Split playoffs.
And you remember how dire everything looked at the start of the spring split, too?
We thought they weren't going to make playoffs.
Yeah, we thought this team was absolutely doomed. It wasn't necessarily Nemesis' fault, but like those shoes are so big that you have to fill right here. But Fnatic, after starting off 0-4 in the spring split, went on to make an impressive comeback, and ultimately make a strong run in towards playoffs. And then in summer, they're almost uncontested for second the entire split. We thought maybe Splyce can topple them, but time after time, they've proved that they are the second best team in Europe.
Absolutely the case, and Splyce, third best team, looking like the third seed at Worlds. They will get engaged on, take out Hylissang for now, haven't yet lost a member. Finally, Norskeren goes down. The attention turns to Humanoid, who is popped like a balloon before Xerxe goes down as well. Nemesis flashes for the gold card, and Vizicsacsi continues to run for his life. He is taken out. Kobbe, the franchise player of Splyce, is the last man standing, and Fnatic book their ticket to the group stage at Worlds, while Splyce are joining the play-ins.
Right there. This year is a new one for Europe, but after winning at MSI with G2 and Fnatic putting up a strong performance against them in the finals, I think everyone must be excited about all three of our teams going into the World Championship. Now, you might be wondering where Quickshot just went, because he was casting a second ago, and now he's not. Now it's just me. He's on stage waiting for an interview, so we'll be getting to that in just a little bit. But in the meantime, I believe we do have some hype plays that we can be showing in just a few minutes here. In the meantime, you can vote for Kia Player of the Series at LOL eSports on Twitter. Your votes are Nemesis, Nemesis, and Nemesis. That's all you get. You can only vote Nemesis, but vote for one of them and we'll see what wins. You know, I'm sure one of them will, because those are the three options, and that's all you can do. But honestly, he had a fantastic series, 2 games on the Cassiopeia. Turns out Snake beats Snakes, and that's just how it goes. Now, as we close out the LEC 2019 season, let's get another look at the best moments from this week in our Alienware big plays. In Game 2 yesterday, Humanoid was everywhere with Akali, giving Xerxe the assassin's mark.
Lead, but Splyce actually gained so much off these small sequence of events that have happened, and now Xerxe are looking to fight, but they can't go for this.
As level 6 can just go right back in. He's going to fish up the score, goes right back in for Trek. Humanoid wants another one. It looks like a double, but they are going to give the kill over to Kobbe. Now Upset is running for the hills. The Zap will not connect. They need to back off. The tongue lash is dive might come through. Xerxe is very strong right now. He can't just walk under this tower. Ignor has to be careful with the hook. He does manage to connect on the Akali. That's going to be their ticket out of here. They need to get out to safety. Humanoid can go back in. Norskeren is there to save the day if needed, but they're just going to walk in. It's a split fight. Humanoid going to fish for one, going to look for a second one. Upset now running for his life. Humanoid trying to chase. He's going to get it. It is not even going to cost him his life. Are you kidding me? Double kill. Going down for
18-6.
Who gets aggro?
I think Karma might have TP. Not me. They got me. Oh. I can look to ult.
Look Tandem. Can we kill Tandem?
Yeah, I beat.
Look to eat me.
Get fucked! Did I hit someone? Nice mark. Woo! Let's fucking go, boys! And my Akali is so clean.
I guess Monica just one with
Yeah, I was running between to see who I should eat.
I was up.
Honestly, that just seemed mean. He never left the bottom lane, didn't give them a chance to bleed. Wow, a chance to survive. Anyways, against Nemesis, it was a different story as the Fnatic mid laner went in for the kill.
Came up a couple days ago and it started with Cassiopeia. Very highly recommended. As Nemesis flashes forward, gets the petrifying gaze, and Splyce are absolutely obliterated.
That's just a massacre in the mid lane.
I'm pushing the way for you.
Go!
I see you.
The big. What the
Vayne. She flashed already. Vayne flashed already. I silence her.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Yeah. Can you calm down, Tim? They're feminists, okay?
So good. So we don't have Nash, but we might be able to. I'll tank forever.
That was just a sick engage that got Fnatic their win in the second game there from Nemesis. Now, finally, Fnatic secured a group stage spot after a big team fight around Baron. Let's take another look. Bad, but now we gotta fight top lane.
We do indeed. 3 members of Fnatic with the help of Daisy against Xerxe and Humanoid. Humanoid flashes defensively, 150 HP left. He's alive for now. Chachi rocks up, throws down the power kick, and here comes Bwipo from the side. Chemo Plague is thrown out. Xerxe will be taken down once that pops. Vizicsacsi escapes with his life. There was not enough damage.
Look at the follow.
Vizicsacsi until Nemesis arrives. He gets a double kill. 3-0-3. I have 3 votes for player of the series, and they are all for Nemesis.
Look at Yasuo.
I'm here mid, on this way.
They're fighting.
On me. No wind wall, no wind wall, no wind wall.
Just kill Yasuo. Being on the pink here at the moment. Kill Yasuo.
Okay,
I think it's a good fight. I'm on fight here. I need help maybe.
I one shot.
You can't die, Huli. Kaisa ult. Shen or can't ignite.
One HP on thingy.
He wants to flash over.
I'm zoning these 2.
We get the dash, by the way. Oh my gosh, here, boys. Don't worry, my team.
No Kaisa, no Kaisa.
Just go Baron.
I'm gonna give you a Q here too.
Wasn't that great? Let's see what Bwipo and Broxah have to say after securing EU's second seed at Worlds.
Thank you very much. I'm joined by Bwipo and Broxah, as well as Fnatic Xayah, as we round out the LEC Summer Split. Bwipo, just before we got the interview, you were talking a little bit about what it's like playing on stage and how it's different from Athens. Can you share with the world?
In general, I feel like the intensity just isn't there playing against a team like Splyce. Especially after G2, it was like a very intense best of 5. I feel like every single game I was trying every minute, trying those C plays, trying to avoid plays, just trying to survive as well as thrive. Whereas in this game, especially the last game, the 4 minutes after Rift Herald spawned, so from 10 to 14 minutes, we were constantly calling, oh, they might be on Herald, they might be on Herald, they might be doing something. And well, every time they showed up on Vision doing absolutely nothing. So we were just, I was just sitting here being like, oh.
It doesn't have that same focus as you mentioned.
Yeah.
But look, Broxah, game 1, you guys were a little sloppy, a little loose at times. It felt like the focus wasn't there. So talk to me how the series played out from game 1 to game 3 and what the focus was for Fnatic.
I think we were a bit sloppy in the beginning. Like, I think it's fair to say that. But throughout the series, it also felt like we started getting the momentum. Like, game 1 was really poor. Game 2 slowly started getting better. We had a bit of trouble dealing with the C at times, but, you know, it got better. And then game 3 was pretty clean. So I think we, like in general, as we said, after playing in Athens, after playing the final, it was pretty hard to set ourselves up for even coming here to play this game. But, you know, I'm just happy and proud that we actually made it work. We played really well today overall, and, you know, we're coming in to Worlds with a second seed now at least.
Just a few more questions before we head to post-game lobby. Earlier today, I spoke to Broxah about expectations and looking at Worlds. What are your expectations for this World Championship?
I think my biggest expectation is that we do better than last year. I think ultimately...
So just win one game in finals?
Well, that would be a good start. Winning one game in a best of 5 is the start to winning the best of 5. But yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, ultimately making the finals again would be a great experience because it's magical, right? Like you start your career, at least me, for me, when I was in Season 3, watching players like Faker compete for the championship, and ultimately that's where the goal started. And as my career went on, my aim shifted from, oh, instead of winning Worlds, like for example, last week, if you asked me what is your goal, it's to win LEC, right? I want to win in Athens. But ultimately, at the very start of trying to become a pro player, your goal is to win Worlds. And seeing that chance in front of me again is what I want to make true for everyone on my team.
It's inspirational to hear you speak, Broxah. Just one last question before I have a couple of quick fire ones. What would it be like to be in a World Championship final in Paris with the Fnatic European fans behind you?
It would feel really amazing playing another World Final, and especially now here in Europe, in Paris. Like, it showed in Athens, like whenever we play somewhere here in Europe, we always have the most fans on our side. You know, in Athens and Rotterdam, no matter where we play, we're always playing on home soil with a sixth man. And yeah, I really hope we get a chance to play in Paris.
All right, I have Fnatic Xayah next to me. Fnatic already have some skins in the game. If you were to win, which champion would you pick and why?
Lee Sin. And honestly, I don't even feel like I have a choice. It's like almost wrong.
Actually, I've seen it. The video you did with VODS, we could just put you in the game. This would work.
Yeah,
Bwipo, what would your champion be?
Is that really a question?
You have to say it. I mean, I know it's going to be Aatrox, but tell me why.
It's going to be Aatrox because my biggest regret from last World was not playing him on stage.
And there we go. Thank you very much. Over to you, PGL.